You exhaust me, chat. You exhaust me. I hope you're happy. I hope you're very pleased with yourself. There we go. He's nice. Okay. That's good. That's good. You know what? It's all right. It's not a fire day. It's a green day. Okay. Oh, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Oh, yes. We have the grand opening of the Green Dragon Inn happening today at Full Grip Games. So that's exhilarating. So if you're local and trying to hang out somewhere extremely cool this weekend, got to check out the Green Dragon Inn. You know, these guys don't fill the space as well. It's part of the deal, you know? They just don't, but... Okay. See, you got me all thinking about the feng shui. It's messed up, man. There we go. That's better than it was. Okay, that's fine. Well, now I got to put all these guys away. And this is why I'm allowed to write off every single one of my plushie purchases as a tax write-off. Right here. They're props. What do I store in the trash can? My holiday lights. Halloween lights, Christmas lights, things like that. Thank you, Patrick, for the Prime sub and the 4 months. Thank you guys for the love to get this stream kicked off. If you want to show your St. Patrick's Day spirit in the chat, let me see some of them beautiful pan sages. Let me see him, chat. The beautiful monkey. Look at that. There's your green right there. Did I say pan sage? You know what I meant. Simi sage. Whatever, dude. Simi sage, pan sage, green monkey. Whatever, dude. Listen, I call him what I want. Thank you, Zero Shiro and Tom, for those subs. Zero Shiro, 7 total gifts to the channel. Tomney with the 17 months. Appreciate it, y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Infernin for you with the Prime sub and the 15 months. Yo, any primers out there trying to spend Jeff Bezos' money? Just saying, it's a great place to spend it. At the gym. Cheers. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you guys for the support. I appreciate you very much. Jay Misplays. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. That means a lot. And thank you, Kyle, for those 100 bits. Grim X Grin with the 5 gifties. 51 total gifts so far to the channel. We've got some insane stuff going on. Okay? We do. We got some incredible stuff happening today. We've got new cards revealed from Japan's upcoming sets, which we're going to get to go over. And these sets release next month. This is why I wish I lived in Japan, bro. I wish I was just Japanese, straight up. I wish I was there on the ground, bro. Their format changes every month. They get new cards every month. It's crazy. Thank you, Pika P, for the Prime sub and the 12 months. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm thrilled. I'm very excited. These new sets, 2 new sets. I just got my hands on this. And then in 4 weeks, new cards. That's awesome. I love that. I mean, it's so exciting. It's like a game getting patched every month is what it's like. And in my mind, that's what keeps games fresh and exciting. Is, updating the game frequently and regularly. We're not going to be getting these cards until June. They will be our World Championship cards. Any reason TPCI doesn't follow the Japanese model? You're asking the wrong guy. I don't know. I have to imagine logistics. That's what I have to imagine that's it. But I don't know. Back in the day when the game belonged to Wizards of the Coast, base set, we just got base set. We got jungle, we got fossil, we got rocket. We just got 1-for-1 sets, right? For a long time. When did that end? When did that end? I think it ended in black and white, right? Did we get pretty much 1-to-1 equivalents until black and white? So actually, it's kind of messed up that we can't do that. We can't do the same thing. I don't know. They did 1-to-1. They did 1-to-1 set translations for a long time. So the question is how come they were able to do it, but now they can't do it anymore? I don't know. This set was only this set was 80 cards, right? Triplet Beat was an 80 card set. So I don't know. Anyways, it is what it do. It doesn't really bother me because I could just follow the Japanese game and just kind of whatever. Frankly, I'll just follow the Japanese game. It's not like I can't translate those cards. It's not like the cards don't get translated. So I'll just follow the Japanese game. And, and when the cards come out in English, they come out in English. But I think that's just where I'm at as a content creator, is that, I'm just always going to be keeping an eye on what the newest stuff coming out of Japan is. And then when we get it in English, we'll obviously go over it. And, that's the formats that we'll be playing at the regional championships and stuff. But I'm kind of, I'm pretty much just always going to have my eyes on, the game as it exists in Japan. Because in my mind, that is the Pokemon trading card game as it is designed to exist. And, we basically just get we get these mashup, we get these massive mashup sets that are just basically translation pile, bloated translated piles that just get dumped internationally is kind of what we get. Yeah. So this is how the game is designed in Japan. And then we just get these bloated, impossible to pull the cards you want sets that are 1 million cards. So I don't know why they insist on doing things this way, but it's the way they've been doing it, at least ever since I've been playing. Back in the day, they didn't used to do things this way. Thank you, Jack, for the sub and the 27 months. I appreciate you. If you subscribe, is it a gym membership? Well, yeah. Of course it is. We've got a very exciting day going on today because we've got new cards to talk about. And let's see. I can totally do, check that out. That's sick. We've got new cards to talk about. And I've got the Scarlet and Violet pre-release happening tonight at midnight. Heather and I are going to be opening the newest cards from Scarlet and Violet. And we're going to be showing off our pulls. And then we are going to build 40-card pre-release style decks. And then battle them against each other and see which one of us is crowned the Scarlet and Violet pre-release champion of Tricky Gym Studios at Full Grip Games. Yeah, there'll be a first and a second place. One of us will be first place. One of us will be second place. But we do have a full-on pre-release happening downstairs at the shop. So if you're local, it should be a very, very fun night since we've got a midnight pre-release and it's the grand opening of the Full Grip Games bar, the Green Dragon Inn. So you can hang out at the Green Dragon Inn. You can have beverages. You can have fun playing board games. You can have coffee, whatever you like. And then you can walk down the stairs to Full Grip Games and participate in the pre-release. And then after the pre-release, you could reconvene back upstairs. So that's going to be awesome. Do we all have an alcohol license? Of course we do. Do you think we're running an illegitimate business? Of course we do. Of course. Yeah. That was the biggest holdup. It's called the Green Dragon Inn after Lord of the Rings. So, yeah. It's it took us a little while to get ours. We had to apply for it, but we got it. We got the liquor license all squared away. It took us a couple of months, but that was like the last thing that had to get done. And now we got it squared away. The mayor's going to be here at 4 p.m. for a ribbon cutting ceremony. I mean, it's like the real deal. It's like it's happening right down the hall. Like the mayor's going to be here. There's a ribbon cutting. Yeah, all that. So they're having that happen today at 4. Then the bar is going to be in full swing, and it's a full service bar. Yeah. So, yeah. Get the mayor on stream. You've never heard of a card shop with a liquor license bar? Of course, we're a one of one. But they are separate businesses, Pokemon. Full Grip Games is the card store. The Green Dragon Inn is a bar. They are separate businesses. They each have their own employees. Full Grip Games doesn't have a liquor license. The Green Dragon Inn has a liquor license. The Green Dragon Inn is owned by the same person. Yes, same owner. Yeah. The owner owns 2 businesses in the same building, which he also owns. But yes, they are separate areas. You're not allowed to sell liquor in an area where you host Pokemon events. I mean, that's just like, they have to be separate, right? Because that is against, you can't do that. But they're just like down the hall, okay? They're different businesses. So. You could have Magic events at the Green Dragon Inn because they don't have the same kind of rules that that Pokemon has. You can have Magic the Gathering events in a bar, but for reasons you can't have Pokemon events in a bar. But they are literally like, they're right down the hall from each other, right? And every state has their own liquor laws. But again, Akron, Ohio, wonderful place to live. Love it. It's never been a better day to live in the lovely city of Akron, Ohio. Never. We've got a midnight pre-release. We got the grand opening of the Green Dragon Inn. Just saying. I'd hate it if all the Pokemon players moved to Akron, Ohio. Wow, that'd be terrible. If just like lots and lots of people who love the Pokemon trading card game moved to Akron, Ohio to build the biggest Pokemon TCG community in the world. Man, that'd be a real shame. Man. How is the cost of living there? Super cheap. I bought a 3-bedroom home for $150,000. My mortgage is $1,100 a month. Easy. Dreams come true in Akron, Ohio. Just saying. Akron, Ohio Zillow review stream. Yeah. You got 1,000 square feet in Chicago for $250K? Yep. I'm paying $1,150 a month to rent a room with 3 other roommates. Couldn't be me. Yeah, couldn't be me, dude. No shot. That's what I'm saying. No chance, bro. No chance. We're building the Pokemon TCG capital of the world. Well, except for maybe Tokyo. All right. We're building the Pokemon TCG capital of the United States here in Akron. Just saying. Listen. The thing about Akron, Ohio is it's northeast Ohio, all right? It's the best part of Ohio. Because you're close enough to the... Listen. You're close enough... Let me show you a map. Okay. This is where civilization is, all right? The East Coast. All right. This is civilization. The further you go west, the further you get from civilization. That's how the US works, okay? And then once you're like here in Indiana, you're in the armpit of the United States. That's just, yeah, absolutely terrible. Nobody wants to be there. And then you get back, to Chicago. Chicago is like the oasis in the middle of the country. It's like actual civilization, okay? And then you continue going west, and then you are in the middle of nowhere again, okay? The absolute middle of nowhere. Nothing cool. And then you get to Denver, which is an incredible place, okay? Denver is definitely super, super cool. Love Denver. Then you got mountains, and then you got this space over here, which is so expensive to live. I don't know why anybody would ever choose to live over here, okay? You literally spend all of your income just trying to put a roof over your head over here. So I could not imagine ever living on this side of the country. No chance. Bro, they got like $1 million homes over here. I'm cool, bro. I'm cool, actually. Yeah. Absolutely no reason to ever live over there. So, as I said earlier, here is where civilization is. The East Coast. The further you go west, the worse things get. Northeast Ohio is what I consider to be the brink of civilization, all right? When you go further west, nothing good's happening over there, all right? We're on the brink of civilization. You can still travel to wherever you want to go. It's just a day trip to civilization. You want to go over to any of these awesome cities on the East Coast? Very easy. Very easy to get there. Okay, Ohio is super big. I mean, to get from Akron to Cincinnati, that's like 4-hour drive. Okay, that's a long trek. And by the time you get to Cincinnati, you will have realized that you have left all of civilization. Okay, yeah, because what you have done is that you have gone too far west. Like I said, Northeast Ohio is the brink of civilization. You go further west, you have left civilization by the time you got here. You're interacting with Bengals fans, okay? Nothing good is happening over here in Cincinnati. Yeah. Now, Columbus is a very hilarious and ironic part of Ohio because they think they're fancy, all right? People drive Lamborghinis and stuff. The cost of living is way too high. Like, brother, you are in Ohio. The cool part about Ohio is that it's low key. That's the cool part. So you take all the cool, down-to-earth parts about Ohio and you remove them and you get some of that West Coast pretentiousness and then you jam it into Ohio. Columbus is actually the worst place in Ohio. Okay? This is the worst place because it's super pretentious. Everybody thinks they're fancy. People drive Lambos and stuff. It's the worst place in Ohio by far. And the worst part is that everybody in Columbus thinks it's incredible. What its cost of living is way too high. Yeah. No shot. Now, the cool part, yeah, Akron's only a 40-minute drive south of Cleveland. The cool thing about Akron is that it's super low-key. It's down to earth. It's a good-sized city. We got like 400,000 residents or something like that. $200,000 residents. Yeah. 200,000 residents. It's a good-sized city. Thank you, Hunt Chops, for the Prime sub. And it's super low-key. You got some good colleges right over here. You got Kent State. You got the University of Akron. Do you know that the University of Akron has one of the best soccer teams in the country? That's right. You're a short drive from Cleveland, the home of LeBron James. %50 of the people who live here love the Pokemon trading card game. And the dope thing about Akron is that you can get to wherever you want to go easily. I'm 2 hours from, I'm just a short drive from Pittsburgh, 2 hours from Pittsburgh. I'm 3 hours from Buffalo. I go to Buffalo all the time. You're super close to Toronto, just a few hours from Toronto. I'm a day trip from Toronto, easy. 6 hours to Baltimore. I make that drive all the time. You're just a day trip to New York City if you want to go to New York City. You just got to make sure you don't go south or west, okay? South, you're going to end up in West V, all right? West... And it's like, I'm not going to make fun of West Virginia because it's too easy. So you don't want to go south. No reason to go south. Just keep it. You could go east. You're having a great time if you go east. And then you could go west too. I mean, Fort Wayne, you got a lot of Pokemon events happen in Fort Wayne. Okay. You got a lot of Pokemon events happen in Indianapolis. Those are short little drives there. Chicago, you got Pokemon events that happen in the Chicago area. It's just a day trip over there, about 6 hours to Chicago. Easy. St. Louis, if they got Pokemon events over there, you're just a day trip over to St. Louis. Easy. You could get to Michigan. Easy. You know, I mean, pretty much all this, and that's one of the reasons that I love being here, is that from Akron, I've got easy access to Detroit. I've got easy access to Chicago, Indianapolis. I've got easy access to Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Baltimore. Honestly, this is all just day trips. That's just day trips. I can get to any one of those cities, just a day trip. Washington, D.C., day trip. Easy. Philly, day trip. It's all just a day trip. Even, I mean, Toronto is mad close. Niagara Falls, day trip. You got easy access to airports, true. And that's something that you get people complaining about on the West Coast, is that they can't get to any Pokemon tournaments. Well, maybe you should have thought about that before living on the West Coast, okay? Maybe you should have picked a cooler place to live, like Akron, Ohio, where you could get to all the Pokemon tournaments. People on the West Coast be like, dang, it's too hard to get to all the Pokemon tournaments. Well, don't live there. You understand? You're just living in a very expensive place. You're living in an expensive, spread out place with not a lot of people. If you want to... It's like, if you want to live somewhere where there's the most amount of Pokemon tournaments, then you go to Japan, okay? If you can't live in Japan, then the next best place is to live on the East Coast or the Midwest of the United States, okay? That's what I'm saying. Like, just straight up, if you want to have access to the most amount of Pokemon TCG tournaments, and you don't live in Japan, the Midwest is the place to be. The West Coast doesn't have a lot of people, comparatively. See? That's basically all you need to know. That's why it's hard to get to Pokemon tournaments. Because most of the people in the United States live over here. You see this graph? Like, bro, That is why. It's like you live on the West Coast and you're like, why are there not as many Pokemon tournaments? Look at this graph, bro. Thank you, Clyde Kelly, for the Prime sub. Everybody lives over here. So if you want to be in the heart of the Pokemon TCG, then living in the Midwest is just straight up the place to be. All the professional sports teams in the Midwest make you jealous. Of course they do. Look at how dense the population is. California has half the West Coast population. Right. And it's extremely expensive to live there. So I would never go. Yes. If you want to live and play Pokemon, if that's your dream, if that's your aspirations, the Midwest, I'm just saying, Akron, Ohio, it's the place to be. The place to be. The Midwest, I mean, any of the Midwest will do, honestly. But I like being as close to I like being in Akron because I feel like it's a gateway to the rest of the Midwest. You have easy access to Michigan, Chicago. You also have easy access to the East Coast. I just feel like I like if you look at this graph right here, right? Dang. You're telling me you didn't bring up the picture? Killing me. Anyways, if you look at this graph right here, like Akron is just like in the middle of like everything. Which is what I like. So anyways. That's my TED Talk. What were we talking about again? Where are we going? Anyways, beautiful, lovely. Beautiful, lovely Akron, Ohio. Ohio, the best place to live and play Pokemon cards, United States. The Rust Belt coming back, baby. The Rust Belt, we're rebuilding, all right? Listen, the mid to late 1900s were not great for the Midwest. But we're making a comeback. There's a whole infinity sign next to my channel. Unlimited channel points. Be sure to VOD this segment for the mayor. Yeah, maybe I should run for mayor. Yeah. Maybe that's my future. Yeah, maybe this is maybe this is my calling. I've lived here for what's funny is that, I mean, I didn't grow up here. I grew up outside Baltimore. I went to school in northwestern Pennsylvania. I've lived in New York. I've lived in Boston. I've lived in Japan. I've lived all over the country. And I love it here in Akron. I've lived here since 2015. I love it here. It's like my favorite place that I've ever lived. Thank you, Necronomicam 2041 for the Prime sub in the 3 months. I feel like it's just a place where I could live. I could live and I could just live, right? Like when I was living and working in Baltimore and DC, I couldn't afford to live there. Like that was the crazy thing, is I was genuinely struggling to have a job and put a roof over my head. I was working two jobs just to try and make ends meet all the time. I was working outside of DC, but I couldn't afford to live there. My friends living outside of DC were paying thousands of dollars just to split housing with other friends. Yeah. It was insane. So then when I got to Akron, I was like, holy smokes, I could just live here. Like I could and like do whatever I want. Thank you, Tane Zero, for the Prime sub in the 11 months. And look at how much, I mean, that's the thing. And this is why I'll always go to bat for Akron, Ohio, because like I couldn't afford to move out of my parents' place when I was in Baltimore, straight up. I couldn't afford to live there. I was working multiple jobs. I was, working my butt off. But a studio apartment in Baltimore was $1,000 a month. A studio, just one room. So it was like I was going to be dumping all of my money into just putting a roof over my head. And then like since I've been in Akron, I've been able to invest that extra resources that I save on like housing and stuff. I've been able to invest into my career. I've been able to invest it into building a channel, building my dream studio, right? I mean, cameras, lights, everything. It's like I've been able to invest into my dreams because I can live here. And the thing is that there are ample opportunities here too. It's a combination of ample opportunities with like affordable cost of living, which is why I just love it here. I absolutely love it here. So, yeah, dude, I got a skate ramp right over there. I got literally a mini ramp, bro. Like this is my dream spot. Yeah, thank you, Player One, for that for the sub in the 38 months. And the thing is, it's not just me. You look at people like Jameson, right? Jameson moved here from Chicago to start his business. And in like the 7 years that Full Grip Games has been in business, he was able to change his business. He was able to grow his business from being a card shop that he ran out of his basement on TCG Player to one of the biggest Pokemon TCG card shops in the country, right? In 7 years in Akron, Ohio. What made me come here initially? All of my friends from Pokemon lived in Northeast Ohio. So that's how I got here. When I lived in Northwest Pennsylvania, I started playing Pokemon when I lived in Northwest Pennsylvania, and I made a lot of friends in Northeast Ohio because when you live in the Midwest, you realize that like a lot of the Pokemon TCG scene was happening in Northeast Ohio. AJ Schumacher lives here. Mikey lives here. A lot of big time Pokemon organizers live in Northeast Ohio. So when I was living in Baltimore, I realized I couldn't afford to live in Baltimore or DC where I was working at the time. So I quit everything and moved to Akron, Ohio because I was like, at least I got friends there. I can afford to live there. I found a job there. And I was like, I'm just going to go there because I can afford to live there. Right. Where like I was like tired of, I spent a year living with my parents when I was 25. I initially graduated college and I moved out. I squatted in my girlfriend's dorm room for a year. I lived with her parents for a year. I got my own apartment in Erie, Pennsylvania. I lived there for 2 years. I was just like scrapping things together. Like literally, I was scrappy. I was just making it happen. I was waiting tables at Cracker Barrel. I was doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And then I went at 25. I basically realized that I wasn't, being a photojournalist wasn't going to pay my bills, basically, and that being a small town photojournalist was not like a fruitful career to bet on, in the mid 2010s. So I was like, maybe I'll try to switch career paths and become a teacher. So then I moved back home and started investing in my teaching career. and I lived back home for about a year and a half, but then decided that I couldn't afford to live there and didn't want to try and afford to live there because I'd just be dumping all of my money and finances into putting a roof over my head. So then I shipped back out to Northeast Ohio, where I am today. And my life really started in Northeast. I mean, that's where like everything started to click up here. It was like I had no idea what I was doing. I was valeting cars in Baltimore. I was teaching. I was working multiple jobs, you know. But I basically just dropped everything. I dropped everything and moved to Northeast Ohio. I was able to, I had a job as a teacher. I was able to afford to live in an apartment by myself. Once I started doing YouTube stuff, I was able to afford to start going to grad school. So I was paying for my own grad school. I was teaching full time. I was hustling on the side still because I was going to grad school and stuff. So in the summers, I would do like hustle jobs, and and I was making it work. I have half a master's degree. I have half a master's degree in special education. I went part-time for 2 years. I got A's in every single class that I attended. And then it became a moment where I had to decide what I wanted to do, because I was I was burning the candle at both ends for too long. So I was YouTubing full time. I was going to graduate school full time. I was teaching full time. All three of those things. I was playing Pokemon full time. I was like, something's got to give. So, and this was like in 2017, right when I started doing the YouTube channel, 2018. So then in 2018, I decided to just put all my chips on red, and I decided to quit grad school, quit teaching, and just go full-time content creation. I reached out to Full Grip Games and asked if they'd be interested in a partnership. They said yes. I was hustling at the card shop part-time and sorting cards, while also like basically I was working 80 hours a week because I was like basically full-time at the shop and also full-time content creation. So I was doing all of that, but at least all of my efforts were going into the same place. And after 8 months of doing those like 80-hour weeks at Full Grip Games, I had helped Full Grip grow to a point where they were able to just pay me a salary to advertise for them, instead of actually touching and sorting cards. So I no longer work at the shop. Now it's a sponsorship. But I had to build that, right? And it's like that. I mean, that's like a foundational, like that's like the crux of like who I am today and how my career today exists, is like that story right there. And I feel like that story could have only happened here, which is one of the reasons why I go to bat for, Northeast Ohio so much. There's opportunity here. You can make things happen. There's just stuff happening. It's fun. So yeah, and now Full Grip's one of the biggest card stores in the country. Just straight up. So yeah. Intel's building a huge chip factory in Northeast Ohio. How did me and Natalie meet? Natalie, when I said that I had friends that lived in Northeast Ohio, that I met when I was living in Northwest Pennsylvania, Natalie was one of those. Natalie was one of those friends. Natalie, Michael Zeely, those were friends of mine that I met like 10 years ago, When I first started playing Pokemon up here, those were some of the people that I met. And the crazy thing is the world is becoming smaller every single day. Like I would never consider moving to Washington to work for the Pokemon Company International because jobs can be done remotely now. So if I were to ever work for them, it would have to be remote. I would never move out there. Absolutely not. That's the thing, is like you can, at this point, jobs can be remote. So you don't have to pay an arm and a leg to live somewhere. You know, you can live wherever. Washington, I'm sure Washington is beautiful. I'd love to visit. I will never live there. I don't care how beautiful the West Coast is, bro. It's too far away from everything. Do I need to show you the graph again? Only 20% of the population lives over there, and 80% of the population lives over here. That means that 80% of things that are occurring are going to live over here. Yeah. So it's just like you pay so much to live there when it's like I could just visit there whenever I want. Like, bro, I live in, that's the thing. People are like, yeah, I can't afford to travel to Vancouver. Like, but you might be able to if your mortgage was $1,000 a month. Like, am I lying? Like, bro, what's your mortgage? Okay. And then what if your mortgage was $1,000 a month? Could you then afford to travel to Vancouver for a Pokemon tournament? Maybe. Thank you, Pokebro, for the sub in the 26 months. You know what I mean? Like, so it's living in a place like this allows me to travel where I want to go. You know? So by expending more of your income to live in a place that's expensive, you're spending more of your income to just be at that place, right? Where I can spend more of my income traveling to places that I want to go. I haven't gone to any ICs yet. I'm going to Europe, though. I've never been to London in my life. And I'm going for the first time. And I went to Germany last year. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. Thank you, Chaos Warlock, for the Prime sub in the 14 months. For sure. Chaos, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of space out. There's a lot of space in America, and the world is getting smaller and smaller. Like, you don't have to live, you know. I mean, that's the crazy thing happening with Silicon Valley right now and stuff, is like people realize that they don't have to live in San Francisco to work the tech jobs, right? Like, you could do all, during the pandemic, everybody realized that, like, oh, I could just do that job remotely. So I can live wherever I want, and I can do that job from wherever I want. It's like this huge exodus happening. So, I mean, I feel like that's kind of the, and that's kind of the future, right? Just realizing that you don't have to invest all your income into putting a roof over your head. You can live anywhere that there's opportunity, and the world is shrinking, and you can work remotely. In how many hours will it be midnight in my time zone? About 12. About 12. Internet connection's the only requirement. So true. You could be living in Ohio, but tax California. Right. If you have a job where your business is in California, but you're still paying less, even if you're paying California taxes, you're still paying less because you're not paying the California cost of living. Right? So all right, anyways. That's my TED Talk. All right, head. You just earned yourself 15 more minutes of Stunlock. Thanks. All right, Stevie. Not Stevie. Stellar Wish Gaming. Sorry, I misread. Stellar Wish Gaming. That's 15 more minutes of Stunlock. You happy? Thank you, Big Mike, for the Prime sub in the 4 months. I know. I'm so Akron pilled, it's insane. I'm like one of the most Akron pilled people in the world, I think. I know. It's like everybody had a teacher. Everybody had a teacher growing up. All right, this is my last Stunlock thing. Everybody had a teacher growing up where it's like you knew that if you could get that teacher on one topic that you might be able to go the whole class period without actually like doing classwork, right? Everybody knew that. This is like that. Like, you guys know how to get me Stunlocked, okay? Yeah. It's no different. I even used to be a teacher. Yes. Now, another fun thing, Jesse is using his days off to travel to some regional championships. We've got, they are traveling to, Jesse and some of my other friends are traveling to Charlotte for that regional championships, and then also Fort Wayne. I'm skipping Charlotte so that because I don't have to go because I got my Worlds invite. Woohoo! Done. You know. Thank you, Ackle, for the Prime sub in the 6 months. But I am going to Fort Wayne because it's so close. I might as well go. So, you know, Fort Wayne's just like a 4-hour drive. So it's like, cool, I'll hop in the car and go to Fort Wayne. Sure. So I will be at Fort Wayne. But Jesse is using his days off for the regional championships coming up, which makes sense. So I really want to create more Scarlet and Violet tabletop content. So what's going to happen is Jesse and I are going to be streaming more Scarlet and Violet tabletop content on Sunday. That is Sunday, 3 days from now, Sunday. All right. So we're going to have a weekend stream Sunday afternoon, about 2 p.m. Eastern time. Jesse and I are going to be playing more Scarlet and Violet games. Bonus Sunday stream. That's coming up. So we've got a jam-packed weekend ahead. You see why I'm not rushing? There's no reason to rush. We've got so much content in the hopper chat. Revved up and ready to go. We got new cards to talk about here. We've got Scarlet and Violet pre-released tonight at midnight, which is technically Saturday. And then on Sunday, I've got tabletop Scarlet and Violet content with Jesse happening. And then I'll be back on Monday for more content. So, And since I'm not going to Charlotte, I don't have to take any days off next week, which means just pure, uninterrupted content. So, thank you, Kalen, for that Prime sub in the 4 months. Okay, that's, No. Lord Beef? No. We're not going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about the best places to eat in Akron, Ohio. No. We're going to talk about Pokemon cards. The line ends here. Yeah, thank you, Kalen B, for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you guys so much for the hype. Let's get some hype going for Kalen B with those 5 gifties. Thank you guys for all the love today and for your patience. I know I'm goofing around, but that's just the mood that I'm in. In fact, most of you in the stream chat are probably at work also goofing around, okay? So I don't want to hear it. You can't be the pot calling the kettle black. I'm just saying, I'm at work goofing around. You're at work goofing around. We're all at work goofing around. Yeah, thank you, Aerosol Long, for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. You're visiting Akron in a few weeks. Where should you visit? The Green Dragon Inn, Full Grip Games. Absolutely. There's an art museum right across the street as well, the Akron Art Museum. You should absolutely go to Luigi's, which is right next, like right around the corner from Full Grip Games. Luigi's, but bring cash because they're cash only because they're old school like that. Luigi's Italian. Fantastic place. Thank you, Wrinkle Chew, for those 200 bits. Swenson's, definitely grab a galley boy from Swenson's. All right, you guys ready to talk Pokemon cards or what? Snow Hazard and Clay Burst. New Pokemon trading card game sets. Featuring Qianpao EX and Ting-Lu EX. The set will feature 71 cards, each for a total of 142 cards. Thank you, SDMC 1994, for that Prime sub. Very exciting. They will release on April 14th in Japan. That is about a month from right now. Thank you, Raynor, for that sub in the 7 months. Appreciate you, Raynor. Thank you. These sets will feature Qianpao and Ting-Lu of Paldea's Treasures of Ruin legendaries, along with Chi-Yu and Wo-Chen. These 4 Dark-type Pokemon were once treasures that became corrupted by negative human emotions. This included wooden tablets, Wo-Chen, Dark Grass, a sword, Qianpao, Dark Ice, a vessel, Ting-Lu, Dark Ground, and a set of beads, Chi-Yu, Dark Fire. Each Pokemon incorporates the treasure into its body. The Pokemon are based on the 4 perils from Chinese mythology, which is why they have Chinese names. That's cool. Love it. Look at these guys. Pokemon did not reveal Wo-Chen EX tonight. Only 3 of the 4 legendaries were revealed. We don't even know if Wo-Chen EX will be in the set, but it would definitely be odd to exclude it when they're including the other 3. The set will, of course, see more illustration rares and special illustration rares. Yo. Look at these guys. I love this Raichu. This Raichu does 200 damage, dog. This is so sick. Love it. Look at this Dung Beetle. Look at this Dunsparce. Dun-dun. Da-dun-dun. Mousehold. Dang. Pokemon really popping off with these. Our June set Paldea Evolved should be comprised of the cards from Triplet Beat, Snow Hazard, Clay Burst, and the starter set Pikachu EX and Pawmot. We're looking at an English set that will probably feature over 220 cards before secret rares, assuming that nothing is cut. Listen, Pokemon promos, you're not allowed to laugh at us for having to wait long to get the cards. It's not our fault, all right? It's not our fault. Not allowed to laugh at us, man. Come on. It's messed up. Okay. I do not like this guy. Relor. I definitely encountered this Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet and kept it pushing. I do not like him. Yeah. And I do not like him. He is literally a dung beetle. He's got poop. This is a ball of poop. And you guys watch, I didn't even get stun locked on Ted Lasso last night. Any of you guys watch Ted Lasso? Man, I love that show. Love Ted Lasso. God. Poopy. It's just a ball of poopy. Yeah. How can you hear the season's not as good? The season's not out yet. Themlin. There's just one episode. Why don't you watch it and judge for yourself? I loved the first episode back. I was having a great time. I was hooting and hollering. Loved it. Okay, we've got Chi-Yu-EX is a basic Pokemon fire type. 190 hit points. Got 2 attacks. First attack, Burning Envy. Discard 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. It's just like Melting Horn, okay? I forgot. You got to have Pokemon cards pulled up because that's just like Houndoom EX. Houndoom EX. Melting Horn. It's just like that for real. And then its second attack, Flame Surge for 2 fire energy, does 100 damage, and you choose up to 3 of your benched Pokemon. Insert your deck for a basic fire energy and attach it to one of each of those Pokemon. Attach 1 to each of those Pokemon. So that's cool. That's a cool card. Gets the party started. Gets Pokemon energy accelerated to them. Nice little mill strategy there. You can discard your opponent's deck. Now, Houndoom was not a very good card by itself, but, sometimes you could just sneak in and win games with that. So it's interesting. Also, can I just say, this is what the game needs. The game needs basic Pokemon that are not the most powerful Pokemon in the game. The basics should not be the most powerful Pokemon in the Pokemon TCG. Let me say that again for the people in the back. The basic Pokemon should not be the most powerful Pokemon in the Pokemon TCG. Understood? This is great game design. Great. It's fantastic. I love this. All right, we got Frigibax, Frigibax 2, Arctibax, and new Blastoise, Baxcalibur. Baxcalibur is a Stage 2 Water-type Pokemon with the ability Absolute Zero, which reads, as often as you like during your turn, you may attach a basic Water Energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. Yes, this is an essential reprint of Blastoise from Boundaries Crossed. This card is over 10 years old. And many of you may be used to playing this card in your Water-type Gym Leader Challenge deck. Now, these two Pokemon are slightly different. Baxcalibur has 160 hit points. Blastoise has 140, so Baxcalibur wins out there. Baxcalibur's ability is the same as Deluge. They are effectively the same. Baxcalibur's attack does 130 damage for 3, and Blastoise's does 100 damage for 4. In order for Blastoise to surpass Baxcalibur in damage output, it would need 8 water energy attached to it. Blastoise is weak to grass. Baxcalibur is weak to metal. Baxcalibur has a retreat cost of 2, and Blastoise has a retreat cost of 4. So on paper, Baxcalibur is probably the stronger card than Boundaries Crossed Blastoise. So a lot of players, most players, will probably opt to play Baxcalibur over Blastoise. But the differences, for the most part, are relatively negligible for a support Pokemon, though dealing 130 damage for 3 and having 160 hit points, I mean, those stats right there are fantastic, as doing 130 damage does allow you to take a lot of very key knockouts for just 3 energy. So I do suspect that Baxcalibur is going to be the new hotness in a lot of people's water-type decks. However, Blastoise does have one ace in the hole that if you're a real Blastoise fan, you do have access to this, which is something that Baxcalibur just does not have. So, if you do prefer to play Blastoise over Baxcalibur, there are some things that make your choice worthwhile. And the Squirtle is one of them. It's got the Shell Shield ability, so it literally cannot be damaged on the bench. You also have access to some pretty good Wartortles. Okay. Like, you just have access to so many more. You can do the Solid Shell one. You could do the Withdrawal one. You could do the Paralysis one is the one that I choose because I think that Paralysis just wins games, so I'm big into that. Blastoise is also searchable with Heavy Ball in Gym Leader Challenge, which can be a useful search card if you decide to play Heavy Ball. So it's got those things going for it. Now, if we look at, the Arctibax is pretty vanilla, 40 damage and 80 damage. And then there is a 60 hit points Frigibax that has a single retreat. This guy's got 70 hit points, but 2 retreats. I think that a single retreat is probably optimal in Gym Leader Challenge, since you want to be able to pivot into your Alolan Vulpix or your Basculin. But yeah, there's at least a discussion to be had. And really, since they are support Pokemon, it'll pretty much come down to like whichever one you like best, right? Yeah, it'll pretty much come down to whichever one you like best. And more options is always a good thing. So can't complain about that. And then who knows? What if they make What if they make the Pokemon Classics, bro? What if they make these cards legal, bro? Don't they say not legal for play? No, they don't. All right. What if they make them legal? What about the tool card that makes your Blastoise do 100 more damage? Then we're talking. All right. So at least something to think about there. Now, the cool thing about this is that Baxcalibur, which is typically a card, the description explicitly says they aren't legal. Dang it. Baxcalibur is typically a card that we would only be talking about in Gym Leader Challenge. But I think that the evidence is showing that the game designers are trying to create a format where Stage 2 Pokemon are viable, which means that Baxcalibur, my God, might actually have a future in standard format. There are some things that need to happen for that to be the case. I think Lost Box kind of needs to slow down a little bit. Okay. You can use Irida, right, to get an instant rare candy into Baxcalibur. That's really good. Yeah, you could just get rare candy Baxcalibur. You can use Bibarel to Industrious Incisors and draw cards. And Bibarel's Industrious Incisors ability pairs really well with cards like Ultra Ball and Superior Energy Retrieval, which we also saw is getting a reprint. It's true, you could play this with Empoleon V to slow down Lost Box, right? There are ways to slow down Lost Box. You got Empoleon and you've got Klefki. So, Lost Box is kind of the big bad of Scarlet and Violet format right now. The hope is that with the current direction of game design, that there becomes some ways to slow down Lost Box decks, and that these Stage 2 strategies will get to thrive. I am very hopeful about the future of the Pokemon TCG. Everything that I have seen as far as card design from this set looks fantastic. So, there are some really powerful targets for Baxcalibur. You've got the new Gyarados EX. You've also got this Chien-Pao EX, which is a basic Pokemon to help everybody out. It's got the Trembling Cold ability, which reads, once during your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you may search your deck for 2 basic water energy and put them into your hand. So this card could just soak water energy out of the deck or suck water energy out of the deck, and then you can accelerate them into play with Baxcalibur. It's also got the Hail Blizzard attack. For 2 water energy, it does 60 damage times you could discard the amount of water energy from your Pokemon. Whoa, and 60 damage for each water energy you discarded in this way. Holy moly, dude. An unlimited damage ceiling? This is exactly like Black Kyurem EX. All right, back in the day, you used to pair Blastoise from Boundaries Crossed with Black Kyurem EX, and you had Superior Energy Retrieval, and you would accelerate water energy onto Black Kyurem and a lightning energy, and then you would blow things up. So it's pretty cool to see, you know, similar strategies get revived over a decade later. And with the way that the cards are being designed, I mean, the question is, will these Stage 2 strategies be able to keep up with the hyper-aggressive Pokemon V-Star and Pokemon VMAX from the Scarlet or from the Sword and Shield era. The Sword and Shield era, in my opinion, is one of the worst designed blocks in the history of the Pokemon TCG. I am really excited and hopeful about the design decisions being made for the Scarlet and Violet block, and I think that this is going to be one of the most fun formats that we've had since the early days of Sun and Moon. I do wonder how long will we have to wait, in order for this format to really come into its own. Will we have to wait until the Sword and Shield Pokemon rotate out of Standard completely? Or will this diverse new direction of the Pokemon TCG start to take hold earlier than that? We'll kind of have to wait and see. But I am excited about this card design. I think it's very good. This is great. And this is what we need. You need card design like this. And even if these cards don't dominate the top tables until Sword and Shield rotates out completely, that's fine. The game designers needed to stop the printing a new BDIF every set. That whole thing had to stop. That was some of the worst game design the history has ever seen. For almost the entire Sword and Shield block, the game designers were just printing a new BDIF that countered the old one almost every single block. And it was atrocious, and thank God it seems like we're past that now. But that was miserable. And it seems like those days are behind us. So that's good. We've got this very cute new Raichu. It's got 140 hit points, good amount of HP for a Raichu, stage 1 Pokemon. And all right, Jake, I'll bite. What's up, Jake? How you doing? All right, fine. This guy right here. Yeah, he's pretty good. It's really just like Black Kyurem for real. Yeah. Extreme Freeze. Discard any amount of water energy from your Pokemon, and you got the metal energy. I mean, now we're really just like Black Kyurem EX. You even got the one-off type energy with superior energy retrieval. I mean, yeah, that's nuts. This card is probably going to be the primary attacker in a Blastoise deck. So that's incredible. It's even still a Kyurem. What the heck? That's crazy. So yeah, this has to be, I mean, this guy is cool and all, but isn't this guy just better? Discard any amount of water energy from your Pokemon. You'll probably want to discard from the Kyurem. This guy does, you probably play a mix. Probably. I don't see why not. Right. Well, Chien-Pao helps accelerate the energy into play, and then once they're into play, then the superior energy just gets them back. So that's nice. I like that. Skaters Park. That is spicy. Will you retreat the energy that come back to your hand? It's kind of fun. You accelerate the energy, retreat them, come back to your... I mean, look at that card design. Isn't that cool, dude? Isn't that cool? That is cool. Then you got Radiant Greninja. Love that. Right. It's cool. There's some really cool things happening. Yeah. Really cool things happening. Everybody, pretty much everybody, the unanimous, like echoing throughout Twitter this morning is that everybody's amped. Like, people are hyped. We haven't seen card design this cool in a long time. I'm telling you, the entire Sword and Shield block was just, like, pull your eyes out kind of. It was really spoon your eyes out for years. And many of, what's cool is that a lot of the people that are here have probably never played a non-Sword and Shield format or never played a non-tag team format. So if you started at any point from tag teams through, if you started playing the Pokemon TCG at any point from Team Up through Silver Tempest, then I can say confidently that you have not experienced the best of what the Pokemon TCG has to offer. Not even close. So I'm thrilled for you because you are going to get to experience some really cool new stuff. And you're going to get to experience a pace of the game in a way that the game hasn't been in a long time. It's going to be awesome. Now, if you've started since Team Up, sometime between Team Up and Silver Tempest, but you have dabbled in Gym Leader Challenge, then you do have an idea of what a different pace of the Pokemon TCG can be. You have an idea because Gym Leader Challenge gives people that idea of, wow, like this is what the Pokemon trading card game can be. So if you've played GLC, then you know how deep this game can be. And hopefully are then excited for things to come. This Raichu is super cool. Could be playable in Gym Leader Challenge format. 140 hit points is pretty good for a stage 1. It's got the attack Electric Charge. You search your deck for 2 basic lightning energy, attach them to this Pokemon, and then Thunderbolt. Give him a Thunderbolt. Does 200 damage, which is great. I mean, lightning type decks in Gym Leader Challenge formats don't really have that big punch that does that much damage up until recently. It's just been like Electivire, right? Which is in a similar space. It's got 140 hit points and it does 180 damage for 3. It doesn't have to discard its energy, which does make it kind of better in a lot of ways. But Raichu is pretty cool, 200 damage is objectively more than 180. Turn 2, you could go for the Electric Charge, accelerate energy onto yourself, hope you don't get knocked out, and then punish somebody. With Dynamotors, you can recharge those energies, and you've got a really, really, really cute, art rare. So you got that going for you. The Dung Beetle, I do not like him. He evolves from Rellor. It's got the Revival Blessing. Oh, yeah, and it's a Psychic-type Pokemon, evolves from a grass. You can't play it in Gym Leader Challenge, and it doesn't look super good in Standard. These kinds of attacks have never been good before, so if this one is good in Standard formats, then I would be quite surprised. Choose a Pokemon. Oh, never mind. I just assumed it said basic. Is still probably not good. Any Pokemon, bro. You're telling me I could put Archeops into play without Lugia? All right, maybe one day. Can you put a break onto the bench? Good question, Jake. No. Can you put a Pokemon level X onto the bench? Also, no. No, I think it's possible that the pace of the game will slow down to a point where this strategy is viable. I read Revival Blessing, and I just assumed that it had a basic qualifier on it, but it doesn't. So, without a basic qualifier, that means that you can put stage 2s straight onto your bench. And when you have a way to summon stage 2s straight from the... Oh my god, look at his pre-Evo on the... Oh, my God. It's just a pile of poop, dude. It's a pile of poopy. It's just a pile of poopy. It's disgusting. Yeah, in Gym Leader Challenge, you could hypno for this guy, and then, but like you're spending all your time getting Pokemon out. Is you better be doing something broken once you get them all out. Right. All right. Up next, we got the Salt Minecraft Mario Mushroom Pokemon, Garganackle. 180 hit points. Stage 2 Behemoth. Fighting type Pokemon. 3 retreat costs. It's got the ability Blessed Salt during Pokemon checkup. Heal 20 damage from each of your Pokemon. Is this ability strong enough to be played in standard format? Probably not. We just got the new... Oricorio from Triplet Beat, which heals 20 damage on a basic. So you're probably not going to play this in standard format, I don't imagine. It. But in Gym Leader Challenge formats, I do think that this card is quite good. 180 hit points and being able to heal each of your Pokemon 20 damage during Pokemon checkup. That means 40, dude. That means 20 going out and 20 coming in. That's 40 damage. 40, bro. Which is quite insane. Oh, yeah, Radiant Serena also does that. So, right. You're never going to play this card in standard format. So this is a Gym Leader Challenge card. So that's insane. Because fighting-type Pokemon usually damage themselves with their earthquake attacks, which are very low maintenance attacks, but they weaken your guys. And one of the, tough things about fighting type decks in Gym Leader Challenge is that your Pokemon have a lot of hit points and they're difficult to knock out, but when you're damaging yourself, you can make those big HP numbers, very small. So I love the fact that this guy just kind of makes your fighting guys really, really tough to knock out. I think this jives really well with a lot of the cards in fighting type Gym Leader Challenge decks. So I like that. And then its attack is also perfect. 2 fighting energy, fighting type Gym Leader Challenge decks can pay that. 130 damage. That's the magic number in Gym Leader Challenge. Then you discard a card from the top of your opponent's deck. Incredible effect in Gym Leader Challenge format because every card in a Gym Leader Challenge deck, except for basic energy, is a singleton card. So you could very well hit something nice off the top of the deck. I really like this card for Gym Leader Challenge. It's a very cool card. Great design, all in all. Solid fella. Ting Lu EX. It's got 240 HP. That is a lot of HP for a basic Pokemon. All right, Pikarom had 240 HP for some perspective. And that dude gave up 3 prize cards. Where are you at, Pikarom? Anyways, there's a gold one right here. Yeah, Pikarom had 240 HP. This guy's also got 240 HP. So it's a tanky Pokemon. A retreat cost of 4. An absolute unit. This dude is almost impossible to retreat. It's got the ability Cursed Ground. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent's Pokemon with damage counters on them have no abilities. Let's go! It's incredible. Ability lock, you're telling me in this set, we've got ability lock. And we've got N. My God, it's beautiful. We've got N, and we've got... Excluding Pokemon EX! No! No! It's fine. 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 It's only EXs. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine because it stops Pokemon V. It stops Archeops. It stops Bibarel. Okay? It stops Genesect V. It stops Confies. That can't be, you can't, it stops Radiant Greninja, and you can't scoop up net those guys anymore, okay? Right. That's the thing, is like, scoop up net used to make it so that you could just heal, like, if you ping 10 damage on a guy, you could just heal it, right? And then just carry on. But with no scoop up net, and then with Hawlucha, right? You could just slam down Hawlucha, bop 2 damage counters, and its attack puts 2 damage counters. Land Scoop for 3 fighting energy, 150 damage, put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So I'm just saying, like, this is cool. This is definitely cool. Yeah, it doesn't stop Pokemon EX's abilities, but that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. It's, Radiant Serena can counter this. What if I put damage counter on Radiant Serena? What if I use rope? What if I have two moose? You rope, I promote my other moose. Checkmates. Yes. What if you heal with the basket? Well, then you're playing a basket in your deck. This card is good. Hisui and Lineligant Penny. All right, you got the spicy decks just on tap, don't you, Jake? I'll bite. Hisui and Lineligant. Which Hisui and Lineligant we talking about? Okay. 20 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. And switch it to the bed. Oh, yeah. I mean, you could. Get him out of the kitchen, bro. Who let him cook? Double turbo does lower the damage. You can't double turbo. It's got to be 2 energy. And then who in the chat is saying that double turbo only decreases damage to the active? Can you read? Please. I'm sorry, that was mean. Read. Why won't it read? Yes. I'm just playing Phoenix Fire. Yes. It decreases damage, all damage. So bench damage, active, yes. But you had me questioning myself there for a minute. Yeah, Radiant Alakazam seems cool. Because you do damage and then you move the damage counters to the things that you want to... yeah. That's a cool way to do it. First, you got to get damage on board. And then, once you got the damage on board, then you can put the damage where you want. I know. The decks aren't building themselves anymore. I love it. I know. That's part of why everybody is so hyped. And you got Halucha, right? You got a lot of different Gapejaw Bog. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Right. You got the new Halucha. You got Gapejaw Bog. J-Car, you don't like creativity. What? Why would you say something like that? Why? Koraidon can get the energy. Right. Oh, yeah. Koraidon's not out yet. Koraidon can accelerate the energy. And the thing is, it's going to be like a slow, grindy deck. So you're okay ending your turn with Koraidon. Escape Rope does offer counterplay, right? And it's also a little bit, it's like a hard attack to power up. It's got a retreat cost of 4, you know. And it's true. Jake brings up a good point. As it is right now, it is never correct to bench any Pokemon at the start of a game. It is 100% incorrect to do that. I always raise an eyebrow if I'm ever playing and my opponent benches a card before the game starts, I'll raise one eyebrow like, "What you doing, homie?" It's even more incorrect because of Escape Rope, yes. But it's also incorrect because you don't want to give your opponent any information. You don't want to give your opponent ever any information. They cannot disrupt your hand on the first turn going first. So you don't want to bench anything. You don't want to give your opponent... I love playing Mew VMAX and you open Mew, pass, and then I'm just like, bench Genesect, Mew. Haha, here we go. You thought I didn't have it. The gang's all here. Yeah, it feels sick, honestly. Feels incredibly powerful. And then another reason why you never bench Pokemon beforehand is because first of all, you don't have information yet, so you want to see what your top deck is, and say you top decked an Ultra Ball, and then say that you're like, oh wow, I wish I had that Pokemon that I had benched so that I could Ultra Ball that Pokemon away. It's like you want to save all of your decision making for when you have the most amount of information. So like, but Jake brings up a good point that it could become commonplace that if you open like 2 Comfy, that you bench both of them so that they can't get damaged. But there are cards like Battle VIP Pass and Nest Ball both play around Gapejaw Bog pretty easily. So I do not think that Gapejaw Bog will be like super, super good. I think that Nest Ball and VIP Pass, which both are like very popular cards, play around Gapejaw. So I don't think that Gapejaw will be very big, as there's really only one. You got Ultra Ball searches out Pokemon and puts to the hand. So yeah, I don't like Gapejaw. I think Ting Lu naturally has a lot of HP. You don't want to damage it. You want the Ting Lu to have as much HP as possible, make it very difficult for your opponent to knock it out. So you probably are going to want to play more ability-focused ways to put damage on your opponent's Pokemon. Like Hawlucha, like Radiant Alakazam, stuff like that. Like Lilligant, Hisuian Lilligant. Love this. Absolutely love it. Yo, the Palo saying 30 to everything. Now we're talking, dude. Orbital VMAX. Now we're talking, bro. Orbital VMAX. Inteleon VMAX. All right, now chat's cooking. Blastoise. Radiant Edition. No, you're never going to play water energy in that deck. It takes 3 fighting energy to attack. Hawlucha's good, but the thing is, without Scoop Up Net, it's like Hawlucha is really good. I think that Hawlucha will be like a Hawlucha will be like the most popular way, I suspect, because it's like immediate. All right, Dunsparce. Find a friend. Search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Still a far cry from the OG Dunsparce, but I'll take it. Getting a Pokemon and putting it into the hand is pretty good. It ain't no strike and run, but I'll take one Pokemon to the hand. Doesn't help set up as much as it helps find evolution Pokemon. That's fine. We do still have a good amount of healthy setup cards in the format. I mean, there's Battle VIP Pass, there's Nest Ball, there's Ultra Ball, so like it's fine. Having a nice, useful 1 energy attack, though, is always good and very welcome in the Pokemon TCG. Dunsparce has got 140 HP. Good amount of HP for a Stage 1 Pokemon. A retreat cost of 3. It is an absolute heifer. And it's got the attack Mud Slap, which does 30 damage. But then the second attack, Sudden Flash, does 100 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Then you shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your deck. So the immediate comparisons are being made to Iselgor, who had the deck and cover attack. Deck and Cover was a national championship winning deck combined with Gothitelle. Gothitelle has the Magic Room ability, which reads, as long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent can't play any item cards from their hand. So, this used to be a thing. This was a whole strategy. Now, an attack cost of 4, that is a lot. Lugia can pay it. That is how you would power it up. I mean, you've got Archeops. Archeops is like how you're powering this thing up, right? So, whether you want to do that with Lugia or whether you want to do that some other way, I think Archeops makes the most sense, because you don't want to have to find the energy every turn with something like Cherim. You want to just be able to just go get. You can also, the thing I really like about Archeops is that you can control the amount of damage you're doing, because you can accelerate double turbo energies. So if you want to do 100 damage and paralyze, you can do that. If you want to do 60 damage and paralyze, you can do that. You could do 40 damage and paralyze, right? Because you can control by you can control in intervals of 20 how much damage you do. And the incentive to doing less damage would be that you can stick something in the active for a second, and then you could do things like, all right, so say you stick a Pokemon in the active, and then we're playing Lugia, right? So we're accelerated, and then you paralyze it, and then you go with who's the fellow with the rapid strike fellow who's got the kick, the something kick, Yoga Loop. Who's Yoga Loop? What's his name? Metacham, thank you. See? Now we're cooking, dog. Now we're cooking. We've got the spice right here. You can accelerate rapid strike energy onto your Metacham using Archeops. And then you could also use Radiant Alakazam. You can move damage counters around, right? You could use you could do double turbo energy. You don't even have to use rapid strike energy. You use double turbo energy. Sure. Yeah. I know. Jake, I already talked about that, Jake. Already talked about that. I beat you to it. Yes, you could do anywhere from 40 damage to 100 damage with Sudden Flash. Oh, you got an ad. Well, there's a way you could fix that, Jake. Yes. You can manipulate the amount of damage that you do, which sets up the perfect Metacham play, which is really cool. Oh, thanks, Anonymous, for that gifted sub to Jake Earhart. Welcome to the gym, Jake. Welcome to the gym. Thanks, Anonymous. Right, you can. You can manipulate the ads. It's true. It's one easy fix. So that's really cool. All you have to do is stream to Dunsparces. Now, I mean, there's some interesting conversations to be had about like the smoothest way to get Archeops into play. It probably is just still Lugia. Though I have to say that Lugia is so much less consistent without Quick Ball. So I don't like that. And then you also have this 2-prize liability. And this deck does seem like it'll be tight on bench space. This kind of feels like it wants to be a single prize deck. Thank you, Crabcore, for the Prime sub in the 4 months. Yeah. This feels like it wants to be a single prize deck. And, you know, there's ways you could do it. You could run Omastar V. I'm not exactly sure about that. Or you could. You also only need one Archeops, true. Yeah, you could run rare candies. Do it the old-fashioned way. I think Lugia actually seems like too clunky, in my opinion. Seems quite clunky. I could see it going a different way. So, this card is quite good. And Archeops definitely feels like the... it feels like the best way. If they boss the Archeops, you're finished. Well, yeah, you should set up more than one. You only have to have one in play at all times, but you should have more than one in play. You could also just play it as a Lugia deck, like Jake is saying. You know, you could play it with like a Dunsparce tech in it, basically. But that's cool. I mean, that's the thing is like we're having conversations about the different kinds of deck building options. This is how the Pokemon trading card game should be. It should be this way. It shouldn't just be like a canned strategy where like this is the best way to do this, right? You know what I'm saying? Like this is how it's supposed to be. This is how the Pokemon TCG is supposed to be. God, it feels so good, man. I feel so alive, bro. And we haven't even gotten to the cake yet. Mouse hold. Slap 50. Gnaw up. Put damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon equal to the number of your mouse hold in play. Cute, but probably not very good. Squawkabilly EX. People were worried that this is the return of Dedenne GX. A lot of the telltale signs are there. It's got 160 hit points. There's something about discarding your hand. There's something about 6. Oh my god, what's happening? On the first turn of the game, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. Whew! Fine. Totally fine. Great. Love it. Great card design. We'll take it. We'll take it. That's fine. A solid card design. This is so sick. Energy flow, 20 damage. Attach up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. So not only does it help you set up turn 1 by discarding your hand and drawing 7 cards, it can also help you set up by accelerating basic energy to your Pokemon in play. And it does a nice little 20 damage. I think this card is quite good. It's got potential. Being able to discard your hand and draw 6 cards is very good. Nest Ball, you can Nest Ball for it. Boom. Great. 160 damage for a 2-prizer. I mean, okay, you got to take into consideration that single prize decks, all right, we're thinking single prize decks might start to be viable again. Like non-lost box decks, right? So like it's good. It's good. It's good. Sometimes you just need that boost to set up. You know? What's Penny do? Penny is like pick up a basic Pokemon. You could collapse it off. Yeah. You could collapse it off your bench. You could... collapse is fine. Sure. Dude, did you guys watch the Champions League with me, right? You guys watched the Champions League with me? Did you watch the Champions League with me? Were you guys there? You remember? Many of you did. All right, how often did homie Gardevoir player collapse that Zacian V off his board? How often? Bro, he was doing that every single game. He's like, all right, I set up with Zacian V. I swing, I take a hit, goodbye, he's gone, right? I mean, that kind of thing happened all the time. Those kinds of strategies are viable. Definitely. Definitely viable. You use a card, and then you bop it. 100%. Squawkabilly could certainly see play as that kind of card. Yeah, it's only got 160 hit points, but it doesn't get knocked out by a spit innocently. That's all that really matters. So, in my mind, so long as it doesn't have 110, you're chilling. Now, if it had 110 hit points, there, that's bad. But 160, fine. Yeah. All you need to do is be able to survive all you need to be able to do is survive a spit innocently. And Energy Flow is a good attack. This is a good card. This is fantastic card design. I mean, I love it. This is great. It's great. It's great. That's just good card design. 160 hit points shows that they care about the HP totals, right? They care. They're not just power creeping HP. It's like the same amount of HP that Dedenne GX had. We're still kind of in that ballpark. I mean, this is just great. Also, it's like every single card revealed is got me so excited. I'm also excited about the little things. I'm excited about the little things like Super Rod. And then it's just a Super Rod reprint. I actually am very excited that they didn't add the up to qualification on this, because it just creates more diversity in the card pool, right? You've got cards like Ordinary Rod, which are up to. You've got cards like Super Rod, which are, you have to do all. I like that. It is up to? No way. Pokebeach is wrong? No! No way! It's up to? Ah! Okay. I take it all back. Fine. All right. Up to is the new normal. I used to, I like having diversity in the card pool. Having some cards be up to, some cards not. But I understand why. I understand why they're doing it. So it's fine. What's the difference? Is that you can do just one. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it makes it a better card, but, like, I don't like that they have to errata all the old ones, right? So now all the old Super Rods are errated now. That's just how that'll be, right? Like, you have to kind of assume that. So the way that old Super Rod, so let's talk about this. All right, the way that old Super Rod used to work. Shuffle 3 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy cards from your discard pile back into your deck. The modern card design doesn't read that way. The modern card design all reads like Ordinary Rod, which is up to, right? Shuffle up to 2 Pokemon from your discard pile. So the way that this used to work is that if you have 5 Pokemon in your discard pile and 3 energy, if you want to Super Rod just 1 Pokemon back into the deck, it doesn't matter. You have to do 3 cards, right? Because there are 3 at least in your discard pile. So all the Holo Super Rods just got bought out on TCG Player. Of course they did. Of course they did. What did you think this is? Right. So that's the... Jonathan, would you say that you're somewhat of a holographic Super Rod haver? That's cool. Would you... So is up to... You do up to... With the new cards... You got... All right, let's just give it a... Who's got a holographic Super Rod? This is your... All right, it's your time to share with the class. Who's got a holographic Super Rod from Dragon Vault? Raise your hand. Who's got one? Thank you, Craig Sauce, for the Prime sub in the 38 months. This is your opportunity. Let everybody know you already got one. Before the buyout. Had one before the buyout. Haha. So, Super Rod is getting reprinted, and old Super Rod, you had to do as much as you could. So even if you only wanted 1 Pokemon out of your discard pile, you had to get 3 if you had 3. You had to get some energy if you had energy. The way that Ordinary Rod is printed, almost everybody who's been playing since Sword and Shield understands how Ordinary Rod works, that you only have to do as much as you want, but not 0. So, if you play the card, you can pick 1 basic energy, 1 Pokemon. You pick 2 Pokemon, 2 energy. Whatever combination you want. This is the new normal as far as card design goes. I was going to be kind of excited just from a nostalgia standpoint, okay? Just because all my old Super Rods were going to stay the same. I was going to be excited about that. And the fact that they just have different cards do different things. But, I'm also totally fine. Old Palpad did not have the up to. All new cards have the up to qualification. All of them. So all the new cards have the up to qualification. So that means that Super Rod, all your old Super Rods are now going to have the up to qualification as an errata. Just like all your old Pokemon catchers now require a coin flip, even if the card doesn't say flip a coin on it. Just like Palpad now says up to on it, didn't used to say up to, right? So like all these old cards are getting an errata, and you know what? That's fine, because heck, all our tool cards aren't item cards anymore either. So, you know, there's a lot of erratas going on. A lot. Yeah, like your Life Dew can't be recycled by Sableye anymore, but that's expanded format, and that format's not real, so it can't hurt me. Yeah, they're fixing up the game. They're tidying things up. More and more, expanded is starting to feel like unlimited. Oh, I forgot. Sableye is banned. I mean, that's funny because it's like expanded is starting to feel more like unlimited. I mean, unlimited is crazy. I mean, for sure. But the longer it goes on, the more it starts to feel that way. Charm of Courage is a Pokemon tool card, which is not an item card. Tool cards are no longer item cards. There is no such thing as tools that are items. In fact, all of the tool cards that you used to know, somebody that I used to know, like your Cape of Toughness, no longer an item card. You could just Sharpie that out. Just kidding. Don't do that. If you play with you can't play with cards that have writing on them, unless you're playing Gym Leader Challenge format, in which case you could do whatever you want. Okay. Does it change for GLC? Absolutely. Yes. Gym Leader Challenge follows the modern Pokemon TCG rule sets. Charm of Courage makes it so the basic Pokemon that this card is attached to gets plus 50 hit points. That's pretty crazy. It's basically a reprint of Cape of Toughness. Sure, but it's not Cape of Toughness. Slightly different. It's a little orange sack with a tail. Cool. So, in Gym Leader Challenge, you can play both Cape of Toughness and Charm of Courage, which is, I mean, super strong for a lot of attackers. Giving that attacker plus 50 hit points is big, but also in standard formats, giving your basic Pokemon EX plus 50 hit points is also big. Cape of Toughness was a card that saw a lot of play throughout its tenure in standard format, and I very much expect Charm of Courage to do the same. Turns out giving your Pokemon 50 more hit points is kind of insane, so yep. Grusha is a supporter card. Allows you to draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. If you have no energy cards attached to any of your Pokemon, you draw up to 7 cards instead. Hello, Grusha. Control decks is kind of what immediately comes to mind. Or just decks that kind of, like Regigigas, you know? Where like your Pokemon gets knocked out every turn, but then you want to accelerate that energy into play every turn. Things like that, right? Or decks that just attack for a double turbo energy. Single prize decks that attack for 1 energy. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of applications. I think that this supporter is really good and also interesting. So I like this. I think that this card is good. It's interesting design, right? Fill your hand to 5 is pretty good. It's not insane. It's not great, actually. Serena is very strong as just a draw card. Being able to discard then fill to 5 is like quite good. But filling your hand to 5 without the option to discard is not nearly as good. But filling your hand to 7 is quite good. So there could very well be some decks that utilize this. Not every deck, absolutely not. But it is interesting card design. And finally, is back, baby. We're so back, baby. We're so back. That's right. Sound the alarms. Iono is back. We've got N spiritual successor. Players have been begging for this card to come back for so long, and I've seen some very funny tweets about this, so I think I've just been liking them. So let's go to my, I don't have anything crazy on my, yeah, like this one was funny. Yeah, you like that one. I like this one. Yeah, that was good too, bro. Yeah. Fantastic. I love memes. I love jokes. He knew. What do you think? Do you think he knew, bro? When he pointed to the N, you think he knew? Did Chip know? Oh, put your tinfoil hat on. Did he know? I think he just was like all of us and wanted the card back. Right? Because, I mean, that was an insane comeback. If you watched that Caster Showdown game, you saw what an exciting and incredible comeback that was. That was so fun to watch. And it was fun. I'm sure it was fun to play as well. And it all happened because of N, because Kyle went on the aggressive and took a 3-prize turn, and Chip instantly punished him with N, right? And was able to mount a really cool comeback. The game is cured. They fixed Pokemon, and they picked the best character to do it. My mood, knowing that N got a better reprint. It's been 7 years since the last N print, but it was worth the wait. Honestly, could not have designed the card better myself. From Tord Reklev. This is incredible news for the game. These Scarlet and Violet cards look way better than any of the Sword and Shield cards. Pokemon might be good again. From Michael Pramawat. Alex Shemansky. N is back. I'm so excited for Scarlet and Violet now. Let's just rotate all of Sword and Shield now. This is so true. That's a good meme right there. Yeah, that was. I had to give that a like. N is good for the format, but why on earth they put the effect on Iono? So that they can sell cards, baby! Yes! Azul says the Pokemon TCG is saved. Snow Hazard and Clay Burst are about to be one of the greatest sets of all time. That's a good one, bro. I haven't seen The Last of Us, but I do love this actor from his role in Game of Thrones. And The Mandalorian. I didn't see The Mandalorian either. That's a good one. Oh, that was funny. Grant's tweet was funny. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so the public reaction to Iono has been ecstatic. I mean, I've been playing the Pokemon trading card game for a long time at this point. I've been playing since 2011. So, I've been pretty dialed in on people's reactions to things. This is the most positive reaction I have seen to a Pokemon TCG set, I think, in the entire time that I've been playing. This is substantial. I mean, I've got chills just thinking about this. I know, Jake. I saw your... Yeah. I saw Jake's... All right, it's worth showing off. Fine. You got me in a good mood. There we go. This one. Jake made a post in December 10th, 2021. I made a promise that if they print N with Marnie's pseudo shuffle, I will stop complaining about the game design permanently. I will 100% stick by that if it ever happens. Well, Jake, you never get to complain ever again. Yeah, look at you now. You really dug yourself into a hole. That is a funny tweet, bro. If they print N with a Marnie pseudo stop shop, there you go. Boom. And they did it. That's the exact it. That's the exact card. There you go. They did it. I don't care about the Day-Day change bird EX. That must have been when you thought that the bird Day-Day changed, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe you were just upset about that. I can't believe it. That's fun. Illustration Rare Iono will have the very high chance to be the most expensive supporter card ever. I agree. That was before. You like the card now? Great. All right. I was going to say, if you're tripping about the way the card is now, then I don't really know. But yeah. All right. Great. Glad we're on the same page. I do agree with this. Illustration Rare Iono will be a very, very high chance of being the most expensive supporter card ever. Well, there's some crazy ones. Y'all ever seen like a Japanese Hex Maniac? Or I don't know, man. I don't know if we're getting there, you know? Yeah, Japanese Hex Maniac's just like a $2,000 card. Yeah. Or Battle Day Guzma. There you go. $4,000. $4,000. $2,000. Yeah, that's right. There's a reason you've never seen this in English. It's because it does not exist. This art goes crazy. I wish I could have one. Well, if you like this Guzma art, you could get one in like Korean or something. Not Japanese. The Japanese ones, thousands of dollars. There's like a Chinese one, right? Thank you, Poke Guy, for the Prime sub. We actually have a Japanese delinquent at the shop. Yeah. You got a Chinese one in the mail right now? There you go. Sick. Yeah, we have a Japanese delinquent. This card's also turbo expensive. Solid $1,000 right there. I know, just saying. Yo, you want to make that gnarly Gym Leader Challenge deck, it's possible. You just need the Battle Day. You need the Battle Day Guzma. You need Japanese Delinquent, Japanese Hex Maniac. There you go. You're not max rarity. All I'm saying is, like, you thought you had a max rarity Gym Leader Challenge deck. You do not have a max rarity Gym Leader Challenge deck. You do not. To have a max rarity Gym Leader Challenge deck, that deck got to be Japanese. Absolutely. Yup. It's got to be Japanese, and you got to have the Guzma. Bros gatekeeping. That's right. They don't call it near max rarity. I'm just saying it's not max rarity. It's not max rarity unless you got this Guzma in it. You can have English. Sure. You have to qualify as English max rarity. Sure. I'll allow it. Yeah, bro. I'm trying to get that 40 grand Gym Leader Challenge deck. Come on now. Every single card artist signed. Every single card. Let's go, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go. The Battle Day exclusives. Yo, the Battle Day Lily. Woo-wee. Sheesh. Yay. You guys want to make an offer? I agree, Jake. Having two options for N and Gym Leader Challenge is really good. It's so good. All right. Most expensive supporter card ever. I agree with this, with the qualification that we're talking about English supporter cards, because there are some really, really rare full arts Japanese supporter cards. All I want is Rockets admin with Marty's. That's pretty good. Dang, you know, I give it to you, bro. I give it to you. You had it right here. You literally had it. A year ago, you had it. I got to give you the credit. That's sick. It's been 3,000 years. I live in the future. Oh, God. I live in the future. That's so sick. That's so sick. All right, so let's talk about it. Ann is coming back. Up until this point, we've had Judge, we've had Marnie, and we've had Roxanne. Players that have been playing. When was N printed? 7 years ago? Oh my God, I'm rotting. How do you look up N on this website? This isn't how you do it. When was the last time N was printed? Fates Collide? 2016. Oh my God. It's been so long. Where are you at, my beloved? We're so back, baby. All right. N was printed in Fates Collide. It was printed in Noble Victories. What other set was it printed in? How many times was it printed? Was it printed in Legendary Treasures or something? Or there was a promo? Was it really just printed twice? No, it was printed in Dark Explorers. Yeah, Dark Explorers. Ah, here we go. Will that do it? Aha! Here we are. Thank you. Okay. So, yes. I mean, what a huge impact on the Pokemon TCG this card had. It was printed in 2011. It was printed in 2012. It was printed as a promo in 2013. And then it was printed in 2016, and the full art there released in 2017. So, and it's impossible to understate N's impact on the Pokemon TCG from the time that it was printed in 2011 up until the time it rotated out of standard format. N was a defining feature of the Pokemon TCG during this time. Yes, Rocket's admin was the card that existed before it in the mid 2000s. So from like 2005, 2006, Rocket's admin was kind of like the pre-NN. Its predecessor is the word I'm looking for, yes. And that card was fantastic then. And N, came back in 2011 and very much defined this era of the Pokemon TCG. Decks would run for N all the time because it's a comeback card late game. Both players shuffle their hands into their deck and draw a card for each of their remaining prize cards. It's a comeback card, and it's a great setup card. At the beginning of the game, you can use it to shuffle draw 6. At the end of the game, you could use it to limit your opponent's hand. And what's really cool about N is that it's perfectly balanced because it also sets your hand to the same size as the amount of prize cards you have. So if you're trying to mount a huge comeback and you've only taken one prize, then you're getting a 5-card hand off of N. If you are on the same level as your opponent and you both have 2 prize cards remaining, you're going Iono to 2. That hurts. That's tough, right? That's tough. It's real tough. But it's something that you have to do. It's a balanced card in that way. I agree with Jake that it makes the game less luck-based in a lot of different ways. The better players usually will end up on top because they are able to navigate the game better from a resource standpoint, from a deck management standpoint, from a board state management standpoint. Because this kind of card is a card that makes it so that you have to have the correct amount of board state established. You have to have your deck have the right kind of cards remaining in it in order to win with this kind of card in the game. It is a very skill-intensive card. It's a balanced card because it helps players in the early game as well. If you open a dead hand, your opponent might just end you, and then you're chilling, right? Thank you, Best Pal Al, for that Prime sub. There's a decent chance that your opponent's first supporter of the game will be an N or an Iono, which means that in like 50% of the games where you're dead drawing, you might get put out of that hand, right? So like, just think of it that way. Like, dead draws are down like 50%. Even that's like, say, like if N is like half the supporter people are playing, then that means that half the time you're getting your hand kind of refreshed. So yeah, its impact on the game is huge. This game, will I play N and Mew VMAX? Of course I will. Will I play Iono and Mew? Of course I will. Of course. Is the sky blue? All right. So Iono, each player shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of the deck, and then that player draws a card for each of their remaining prize cards. And that is I mean, it's similarities to N are right there, but it is also different. So let's talk about the differences. You have the effect that everybody is accustomed to at this point with Marnie. You shuffle your hand, put it at the bottom of the deck, and then you draw a card for each of your remaining prize cards. This card is better than N. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's better than N. It's better than N because one of the biggest problems with N was that when you played it as your turn one supporter, you just would get back them same garbage cards, bro. That's the thing. Like, when you are playing N as your turn one supporter, presumably you don't want the cards back that are already in your hand because you're looking for cards that are not in your hand, right? You want different cards. But N shuffles the hand into the deck, and then you draw 6 cards randomly from the deck. So you could very well end yourself into the same exact hand. Iono takes your hand, shuffles it, preserves it, puts it at the bottom of the deck, and then you get 6 new cards off the top. That is marginally better at the beginning of the game because you are seeing 6 new cards, right? Guaranteed to see 6 new cards. It's incredible. I mean, it's an incredible early draw supporter. I used to joke with my friends that if you had N and Juniper in your opening hand, you would lose the game if you N, so you have to Juniper, right? We used to joke all the time that the easiest way to lose a game of Pokemon cards was to play N turn 1 because you might just N yourself into a dead hand. You're almost always better off Junipering, right? Because, like, unless you've got some resources that you cannot get rid of, you're better off Junipering than N turn 1 because you could just N yourself back into the same hand and then you don't get started off well and then you're having a terrible time. Iono is like the solution to that problem because you're not getting those same cards back. You're getting new cards. Yes, I like that point, Jake. Jake says, I made a post about how the difference makes it more skill-based. One of the biggest points is that choosing to stop drawing cards is going to be crucial now. For example, if you've got a colorist in your hand, you got to be careful about flower selecting in case you get a second. Right, because there's no Oranguru. God, I'm so excited that card is leaving. Right, there's no Oranguru. It used to, with Marnie and Oranguru, it was like, it just like, you just put the card you want on top, and then you'll Marnie me into it, right? So that is gone. So now you have to be careful about what you leave in the deck, right? Because the cards in your hand can always get chucked to the bottom of the deck. It's not like N, where you're just spinning the wheel and whatever happens, happens. You have some small control over what you're drawing into because you can amass the cards you don't want to draw into your hand so that when you do get Iono'd, you have a higher chance of drawing into the cards that you want. So Iono is going to make deck thinning an entirely new thing. Not only is thinning your deck going to be important, but there's going to be some strategy in bringing the cards that you don't want into your hand and leaving the cards that you do want in the deck because of the way that Iono is constructed. I think that Iono's presence in the game will be a complete win. I also think that cards like Iono are far less impactful in a format with stupid VMAXs, okay? This is one of my issues with VMAXs, is that cards like this don't even matter because in a VMAX format, it's like, boom, 2 knockouts, you lose, right? So what does a comeback card even matter when there's not multiple steps to winning or losing, right? So that's that was like the problem with the entire Sword and Shield block, was that you just have these gigantic bloated Pokemon, and all that mattered was, knocking out 2 or 3 of them first, right? The game looks like it's heading away from that, which is an overall huge win. Roxanne is like dead, right? Roxanne was like and the thing is that they had to print Roxanne. They had to print Roxanne because it's like, oh, if a VMAX gets knocked out, now you could set your opponent to 2. That's like the comeback card, right? It's like, your opponent might win just by knocking out 2 VMAXs. If they knock out 1 VMAX, you can put them to 2, right? That was like their concession. Yeah. But so Iono just makes so much more sense with the upcoming direction of the Pokemon TCG that we're seeing in the Scarlet and Violet sets. Thank you, Trainer Joe, for that sub in the 41 months. I think it makes a ton of sense, and Iono is really just indicative of the new direction that the designers are going with the Pokemon TCG, and everybody is excited about it. It's really a cool time to be a Pokemon trading card game player. This is very exciting. Judge or Iono and Mew VMAX? Both. Duh. Why would you not play both? Why in the world would you not play both? Do you play Roxanne and Judge now? Come on now. Both? You play Roxanne and Judge now? What about like a 2-2? Yeah. Yeah, play both. Of course, both are really good. Turn 1, you want to Judge. At the end of the game, you want Iono. Yes. So I think that Iono is also going to be very impactful in Gym Leader Challenge, because Gym Leader Challenge decks will have more comeback potential than they used to. Obviously, N was always there, but now having N, Marnie, and Iono, I mean, hand disruption is going to be a fact of playing Gym Leader Challenge for sure, more so than it was previously, and that kind of thing allows for more comebacks. But it also means that on-board draw stability will be a premium in Gym Leader Challenge 2. And I do think that same thing is going to carry over to standard format. I think that cards like Bibarel are going to be a premium in our upcoming standard format. Cards that help you to draw based on your board, right, are going to be very big, which then also makes it's like you could see the card design. It's incredible, right? And then cards like Ting Lu that stop Pokemon powers like Bibarel's, Industrious, Incisors. I mean, it's just like, it's so cool, man. It's cool. We got ability lock. We got comeback potential. We got status conditions. Like, my God, dude, you've got it all. You've got it all happening right here. It's all happening. You've got Stage 2 abilities. You've got cool basics. I mean, this is part of what made the early Sun and Moon eras so good, was that you had basics living next to Stage 1 decks, living next to Stage 2 decks. Like, if you look at this is the easiest way I know how to get here. All right. All right. If you look at the format in 2017, you had basic Pokemon like Drampa. You had Stage 1 Pokemon like Garbodor. You had Stage 2 Pokemon like Vileplume and Decidueye. You had Stage 1 Pokemon, like Gustava's Ninetales GX deck. You had basic decks, like Volcanion. So this is like an entirely basic 2-prize deck right here, Volcanion EX. You have a Stage 1 GX deck with Ninetales GX. You have Stage 1 GX, Stage 2 GX with Igor Costa's deck. You have just a Stage 2 deck with John Kettler's second place Decidueye Vileplume, which is different than Igor's Decidueye Ninetales deck. You had basic Stage 1 decks like Tord and Sam's Drampa Garbodor decks. You had my basic Drampa Zoroark deck, which was different than Drampa Garbodor. And then you had Alex Kreckler with the Stage 3 deck, Greninja Break. Look at the diversity in top 8. That's insane, okay? You've got a literal basic Stage 3 deck. You've got basic Stage 1. You've got a literal just a single prize Stage 3 deck. You've got a big basic Stage 1 deck. You've got a big basic deck. You've got a big Stage 1 deck. You've got a Stage 1, Stage 2 deck. You've got a big basic Stage 1 deck. And you've got a double Stage 2 deck. I mean, that's just like, there are so many different ways to play right there, right? So many different ways to play. And then as you go down, you see we've got another big basic Stage 2 deck, Tapu Bulu. We've got more big basic Stage 1 single prize Stage 1 decks. We've got a pure Decidueye deck. We've got another big basic deck. You've just got all these different ways to play. It's so cool. You got Turbo Dark, big basic Turbo Dark Giratina, Turbo Dark, another Stage 2 deck right here. You've got a Mega Rayquaza deck. It's insane. Absolutely insane. What format was this? The best modern format in the Pokemon TCG. This was Breakthrough through, was it Breakthrough? No, it was Primal Clash through Guardians Rising. It's right there. Yeah. The next format was Breakthrough on, I think. But Garbodor was a skill-based card. It wasn't like Lugia. It was a really skill-based card. Garbodor was a card that allowed better players to win more often than not. It was a great card. So that's why it's like you had good players doing well with Garbodor. And it was really cool. So the hope is, right, and then if you go to... Oh, boy. All right. You know, it's a Stage 1, Stage 2 deck, but it ain't quite the same, bro. Yeah. You know. Yeesh. Uh-huh. So anyways, I think that the card design is going in a good direction. I think a lot of us really are really excited about that. I know people were like, you know, this set was made for like casual drafting, frankly. And that's just like, it's casual drafting set. That's it. It's meant to play sealed, you know, a casual sealed format. I mean, how cool would that be if that's what we got internationally? We get one set 1 month that's just a casual sealed format, and then the next month we get a set that might redefine standard format. Like, how cool is that? You know, that's what it's like to live in Japan. This month you get and it's like, yeah, this set wasn't terribly exciting, but it's like the sets are coming out a month apart. So it's like, this is just like something fun to do with friends. You could play a sealed format with friends playing Triplet Beat, and then the next set you've got like a completely, a set that's going to flip the game on its head potentially. Well, I think so, but again, we are coming off of the most broken block in the history of the Pokemon TCG. The Sword and Shield block, and what I consider to be one of the worst designs block. I think the Sword and Shield block is confidently the worst designed block in the history of the TCG, in my opinion. X and Y was broken because the trainers were so broken. But I think like the Pokemon are what's broken in Sword and Shield, right? X and Y was broken in its own way. Well, the trainers are broken in X and Y, and the Pokemon are broken, and the power level is what is obscene in the Sword and Shield block. Like, you could do crazy things with Battle Compressor, with Trainer's Mail and all of that, versus Seeker. I mean, you had crazy. The X and Y stuff was crazy, all right? But the power level is just out of control with the Sword and Shield block, which is why I consider the Sword and Shield block to be unquestionably the worst designed block in the history of the Pokemon TCG. Because, like, trainers being broken, like, eventually those trainers can rotate out, and so long as the power level of the Pokemon didn't, like, get too out of hand, then you don't really have to, like, save the game. You just wait until the broken trainers leave, right? But, like, now that the power level of the Pokemon is at a degree, it's so much harder to fix the game with Pokemon like Luke. Like, look at Expanded. All right, look at Expanded. Like, look at Expanded, right? It's so, once Pandora's box is opened, it is very hard to put it back together, okay? It's very difficult. You've got the most broken Pokemon ever romping around and Expanded. The Pokemon are so broken. Tag teams combined with V-Stars. You've got GX attacks and V-Star powers and a Specs. Oh my God. It's insane. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't even feel like Pokemon cards, really. And it's because the power levels got too high, right? I think I did 300 damage turn 1 in Expanded format. I did turn 1, Lugia V-Star, Summoning Star, got my Archeops, pumped 4 powerful colorless energy onto a Slacking, or pumped a couple powerful colorless energy onto a Slacking and did like 300 damage turn 1. It was insane. I was like, wow, that was pretty cool. With the Silent Lab. No, turn 1. I did it turn 1. You cannot. I turn 1 Battle Compressor Wallied. It's insane. Yes, you cannot do that turn 1 in Standard. But I agree, though, that the cards are too powerful in Standard as well. They're too powerful across the board. So, the game is headed in a great direction. It really is. All right. So, that is what we got going on. Very, very exciting. The game is saved. The Pokemon TCG is getting better and better and better. And I am 100% here for it. I think I did an interview with with John Roberts II. Thank you, Ultra Paradise, for that Prime sub in the 15 months. I did an interview with John Roberts II, who is your 2012 national champion. What's the name of this website? Come on, it's like TCGlegends.com or something. Man, bro. Is it TCGlegends.com? Is that just literally it? Nope. All right. You guys know what it is? How am I having a hard time finding this? PTCG Legends. Thank you. I was like, I had such an easy time. It's a great website created by Alex Wilson. I'm not going to leak it. I'm just going to talk about. I'm just talking about briefly about John Roberts II. So yes, I had an interview yesterday with John Roberts II, who is your 2012 national champion. Great interview. I mean, just a fantastic dude to talk to. It was wonderful. Played a rogue deck, Kling Klang, at the 2012 national championships. Had the respect of absolutely nobody going into the event and was able to win it all. I am so excited. This is going to be the topic of my next video essay. I'm working on a Cleffa-themed video essay right now, which is going to detail Cleffa's impact on the Pokemon TCG and why Cleffa was such an impactful card on the Pokemon TCG. And then my video essay after that is going to be on John Roberts II, who is your 2012 national champion. And I did a nice little interview with him just to kind of learn more about him, learn more about his venture to the first place at Nationals 2012. It was a really sick interview. I'm excited about it. I'll probably post the entire interview to the VOD channel when I'm done with the video essay. I'll post the entire interview to the VOD channel because it's worth listening to. It's a really good interview. But I don't want to spoil the video essay, so I'm not going to reveal the interview yet. But it will be there in its entirety on the VOD channel for when I'm done. And I think that this is going to be something that I kind of do going forward. Since I'm going to be doing, I'm not going to be doing any gameplay videos on YouTube anymore. If you are a fan of my Pokemon TCG gameplay stuff, on the Pokemon Trading Card Game Online or the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, I will still be doing that content on Twitch, and that content will always be on my VOD channel, Tricky Jim VODs on YouTube. So, if you like that stuff, no worries. It'll always be on Twitch, and it'll always be on YouTube on the VOD channel. So that's where that stuff is going to live. But since I do not like the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, I think of it more as something that we kind of have to do out of necessity in order to continue my career as a streamer and not something that I want to do. So I'm going to invest my creative energy for the main YouTube channel, Tricky Jim, and I'm going to be investing my creative energy into tabletop gameplays and into video essays and into cool stuff like top 10s, stuff like that. That kind of stuff I will produce for the main YouTube channel still, and you're still going to get plenty of that kind of content there. But the PTCGO gameplay stuff, obviously, PTCGO is dying, so Yeah, no more PTCGO videos. And I also just do not like the Pokemon trading card game live. So I want to have a space where I am motivated and feel like I have creative freedom to explore content outside of the Pokemon trading card game live. And the Tricky Gym YouTube channel will pretty much be my canvas for doing so. But on Twitch, you'll still get hours of me playing live pretty much every day that I'm not doing tabletop content. And all of that content will always make its way onto the Tricky Gym VODs YouTube channel. So if you are, like watching on YouTube or whatever, you'll have hours of time-stamped, gameplay stuff. Okay. Yeah. It'll all be there. So really, it should just be a win for all of us because I'm excited to try and evolve the channel past it. Honestly, my videos had gotten very formulaic, right? I mean, it was like we have you pog, you laugh about something, you show off the deck, you show off 3 games. The deck that's supposed to win wins most of them. That's like that's basically the Tricky Gym formula. It's what we had boiled it down to. We got it down to a science, and and it was what it was. But I feel like that kind of stuff still had like a plateau of what was possible in the channel. And that plateau is like right around here, which you guys can see with these top videos on my channel. And that's okay. And I think that that's good and that's fun. But like, I'm a 34-year-old man and I have creative ambitions beyond making silly decks on PTCGO. So I'll still do that on stream because I love interacting with chat and just bouncing silly ideas off of chat and making fun decks and popping off and having a feel-good time. I love that stuff, but I have creative ambitions way beyond that. So the YouTube channel is going to turn into a canvas for me to explore those creative ambitions. And I want to try and make the best produced Pokemon trading card game content in the world. That is my dream. I want to make the best produced Pokemon TCG content in the world. And I want to tell all the best stories that there are to tell about the Pokemon trading card game. I want to tell them in beautiful fashion. So that is what I'm going to be doing on the Tricky Gym main YouTube channel. Again, if you like silly gameplay, great. It'll always be here on the Tricky Gym VODs YouTube channel. There will be plenty of silly gameplay to be had here. The reason I haven't been playing too much PTCGO or PTCG Live lately is because who cares? We're in the middle of a dull format that has been going on for way too long. Scarlet and Violet cards aren't out yet, and I've just been finding other stuff to keep us busy because I'm tired of this standard format, and so are many of you. So that's why we haven't been playing too much online client lately, because it is what it is, right? I still got another 2 weeks until the cards rotate, or until we have to go over to live to play the new set. So I still got 2 more weeks to goof around. I'll probably still try to, maybe I'll do like one last hurrah on, PTCGO, playing some silly expanded decks. That's like an idea that I have. I might do that. That's kind of like, maybe we'll do that. Play a little expanded while we have it, just to kind of laugh about how silly it is. Something like that. So yeah. All right. Today's a double whammy stream day. I've got this stream here, and then I've got another stream happening at midnight, so I'm going to butt out a little bit early so that I can get some stuff done, rest up, eat dinner. And then Heather and I are going to be back tonight at midnight for the midnight pre-release of Scarlet and Violet. That is occurring in roughly 10 hours, okay? 10 hours from now, Heather and I, midnight pre-release at Full Grip Games. Natalie is going to be running the pre-release downstairs, so everybody who's local, make sure to come out if you can. It'll be fun. We've got the grand opening of the Green Dragon Inn Bar and Cafe happening right there, okay? And that grand opening and ribbon cutting ceremony is happening in 2 hours at 4 p.m. It'll be a real good time. So yeah. You guys enjoy your St. Patrick's Day. I'll be back tonight at midnight for the Scarlet and Violet pre-release. So hopefully you'll join me for that. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, y'all. I'll catch you at midnight Eastern time. Long day. Long day. See ya.